Would it be important for you to learn how to maximize the use of your brain? Hey there everybody, Eli's dad here. Today, Project Eli, to educate, lead, and inspire, will begin to explain how to maximize the use of your brain. We will examine the misuse of this most cherished universal gift and establish the correct mindset to achieve maximum results. You are invited once again to eavesdrop as I mentor my son. Eli, one of the most productive inventions of my lifetime has been the computer. It enables us to solve problems with literally the touch of a button. The use of the computer is easier for you than it is for me and people of my generation, generally speaking, because it is something that you grew up with and didn't have to learn after the bulk of your organized and structured education was completed. Now, just as a small child has an easier time learning multiple languages, you're learning computer speak and functionality with relative ease. You see, my boy, I realize that mastering computer usage empowers me to discover more solutions. The problem is that I must learn to use the computer to solve more problems. I must overcome a problem to solve more problems. My limitations are determined by the inability and ignorance I possess to use this tool to achieve maximum results. Fortunately, for a tool as important as the computer, I'm motivated and I'm willing to learn and replace ignorance with knowledge. Limitations are like cages, aren't they? They prevent you from going beyond your self-imposed boundaries. Now, it's very popular today to examine troubling issues with metrics, the numbers. I'm a hip guy, 60s verbiage for with it, tuned in, connected. So let's do it with the help of one of my favorite authors and speakers, Simon Sinek. These are his words. Metrics are fine. They're just not accurate in the short term, and they're not fixed in time. Question: do you love your wife or significant other? Prove it. What's the metric? Give me the number that helps me know. Because when you met her, you didn't love her, right? But now you love her. Give me the day that love happened. It's an impossible question, isn't it? It's not that it doesn't exist, it's just that it's easier to prove over time. If you were to go to the gym and work out, you go home, you look in the mirror, and you see no change. And if you go to the gym the next day and you look in the mirror, you still see no change. Clearly there's no results. It can't be measured. It must not be effective. So most people quit. Or, if you fundamentally believe that this is the right course of action, you stick with it, like in a relationship. I bought her flowers and I wished her a happy birthday. There's something there, so you commit yourself. You commit yourself to a regimen, the acts of service. Now you may follow it up, you may eat a hunk of chocolate cake or skip a day at the gym, but if you continually exercise, and I'm not exactly sure which day, but I know that you'll start to get into shape. The same can be true with a relationship. It's not about the events, it's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Going to the gym for 8 hours doesn't get you in shape. Working out every day for 20 minutes gets you into shape. It's the daily practice of all of the monotonous things that matter the most. Now, she didn't fall in love with you because you bought her flowers and remembered her birthday. She fell in love with you because when you woke up in the morning, you said good morning to her before you checked your phone. She fell in love with you because when you went to the refrigerator to get yourself a drink, you brought one for her without even asking. She fell in love with you because when you had an amazing day at work and she had a terrible day at work, you didn't say, "Yeah, but let me tell you about my amazing day." You sat and listened to her awful day and didn't say a thing about your amazing day. This is why she fell in love with you. Now, I can't tell you what day or what you specifically did, but it was the accumulation of all the little things that you did that made her wake up one day as if a button had been pressed, and decided that she loved you. Consistency over time. Once again, that was from Simon Sinek. Now, Earl Nightingale, a personal growth guru of the 1950s and the Napoleon Hill of his generation, used the following statistics to prove a point. First, the metric. If you take 100 men born 65 years ago, one of them is rich, 4 are financially independent, 5 are still working, 54 are broke, they rely on friends, relatives, and or Social Security for survival, and the remainder are dead. Now, Nightingale continues, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. The opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice, it's conformity. By the time we're 65, we have not learned how to become financially independent in the richest land that has ever been known. Why? We conform. The trouble is that we're acting like the wrong percentage group, the 95% that don't succeed. Why? These people believe that their lives are shaped by circumstances, things that happen to them by exterior forces. The only person who succeeds is the person who is progressing towards a worthy ideal. Only 1 out of 20 does that. That's why today there really isn't any competition unless we make it for ourselves. Instead of competing, all we have to do is create. Now, Mr. Nightingale made this statement over 60 years ago. Today, according to Social Security, the statistics are virtually the same. The same. Consistency over time. 60 years of the same metric is credibility and consistency. Hello, McFly, excuse me. We live in a perfect storm of distraction. If I may impose upon you to look up from your smartphone or stop texting or speaking on your cell or playing your video game or conversing on Facebook, your WMDs, weapons of mass distraction, I'd like to share how the 5%er succeeds by using that most magnificent tool that we all possess, our brain. If we must conform, let us model the successful 1 in 20 rather than the 19 in 20. The 1 uses their brain differently on a consistent basis than the 19. Therefore, Eli, our contribution today is the owner's manual for your brain. What do the 5%ers do with their software that the 95%ers omit? Now, to reflect on some thoughts on this subject from some undeniable 5%ers in history, I've included some quotes in the description box below. The obvious answer is, the obvious question is, if our minds are so powerful, Eli, and empowering, why don't we use them more? Answer, our mind comes to us as standard equipment at birth. It's free. Things that are given to us for nothing, we place little value on. Things that we pay money for, we value. It's a paradox that the reverse is true. Everything that is worthwhile in life came to us free. Our minds, our souls, our bodies, our hopes, our dreams, our intelligence, our love of children, our friends, our country, all of these priceless possessions are free. The things that cost us money are cheap and can be replaced at any time. A good man can be wiped out and make another fortune. And he can do that several times. If your home is burnt down, it too may be rebuilt. But the things we get for nothing, we can never replace. The human mind isn't used because we take it for granted. Familiarity breeds contempt. Generally speaking, the human mind, can do any job that we assign to it, but we assign to it little jobs instead of big important ones. If we don't consciously plant the seeds of what we want in the gardens of our minds, we will end up with weeds. Excuse me. Here's a quote from Ernest Holmes. Listen to this. You and I, you and I both know that we did not create the laws of nature. We did not set the stars in their course or cause the sun to shine or the earth to revolve on its axis. We are surrounded by a creative intelligence that acts on our thoughts, just as gravitational force acts upon physical objects. This is the key to the situation. We must accustom our mind that there are mental and spiritual laws and that they act just like other laws of nature. Now, of course, no one's ever seen these laws, but did you ever see the principle of mathematics? Did anyone ever see life itself? Science doesn't claim to see the laws of nature. It merely says that we've discovered that these laws exist. Through experiment, we have found out how they work. Science says we know that these laws exist because we can use them. Don't be concerned then if someone asks why the law of belief exists or what it looks like. For no one would ever ask this question about any other natural law. They would merely say it exists and why not use it. Those are once again the words of Ernest Holmes. Now let's review the major points. First, sometimes there are tools available to help us achieve more. The problem is that learning how to use these tools, the computer in my example, can be a challenge in itself. We must overcome this first challenge to take advantage of a tool that can significantly help us and expand our self-imposed boundaries. If we didn't take the time to learn how to drive a car, we'd still rely on the horse and buggy. Second, metrics can be a useful aid if their results can be measured over a consistent length of time. Now, some things, like love or getting in physical shape, cannot be measured short term. Their success depends on consistent, minute actions performed over time. You continue to perform these actions because you know something is, quote unquote, there. The personal relationship or continual exercising in our example. And this helps you to achieve a particular goal even though there is no immediate metric to support your progress. Faith in the process. Third, when the metric is there, that is, it has credibility and consistency, you must take notice because there is a cause and effect relationship. The numbers of unsuccessful individuals from 60 years ago and today are alarmingly congruent. We have more than double the amount of knowledge now than we had back then, and we're able to access this knowledge with relative ease as well. You see, Eli, knowledge is power only if it is used. It's like a set of weights sitting in the closet attracting dust. The athlete gains no strength without exercising. The cause and effect of this particular metric must be recognized as conformity to too many distractions. The 1 in 20 that are successful all stress the importance of having a strong, single, settled purpose and the will to relentlessly pursue that purpose. We take for granted the brain power that was given to us because it was bestowed to us without cost. Finally, we are surrounded by a creative intelligence with whom we act in concert that helps us through natural and spiritual laws to unfold human progress. What was impossible centuries ago is now commonplace for us. Progress is a product of creative thought, putting natural law principles in the proper order. There is a rarely used blueprint to achieve this coordinated effort with the infinite mind. Now today, we poured the foundation, the why and because. Next time, we will continue on a step-by-step basis and start exactly how to maximize this great gift, the human brain, and how to make use of the universal laws that enhance our results. To ensure that you don't miss that, please subscribe, ring the bell. If you liked it, tell your friends. Our quote for today is, people are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people that get on in this world are the people that get up and look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, make them. That's from George Bernard Shaw. Once again, don't forget to look at the description box below for some more quotes. And because we never end a meeting on a philosophical note, get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.